What's up, guys? Welcome to the 1907 show. This is Steve Jones, Liverpool lover, and we're here with Zachary, who is a Chelsea fan and a Liverpool hater. Right now, we're going to talk about the last game Liverpool just had against Aston Villa. This is supposed to be our tough period. This is supposed to be our tough time. Arsenal fans were screenshotting me the schedule from their favorite app. Oh, I hope you're happy now. Liverpool's got an easy schedule. You know, they haven't played anybody, but once you hit this period, it's going to be horrible. And if you go and you look at Chelsea's games during this period, and you look at Arsenal's games during this period, well, then we can see who's having a tough time right now, and it's not my precious Reds. So let's get right into it. Aston Villa, counter. Aston Villa should have been afraid when they got a corner kick versus us. We had 4 huge counters and we scored from it. We could have scored 3. Of course, Darwin's gonna Darwin. He had one where he just smashed at it. He didn't settle himself, but overall, I'm so happy. I don't like the bad narratives about him. My narrative is the guy's looking more relaxed. He just loves playing at the club, and he's obviously heading in the right direction. So who would have thought you have a game, we're controlling the game, and most of our attack, or all of our attack, and all of our goals come from counters from their set pieces. Absolutely love it. I think we have the best counterattack in the world right now. Those guys, Darwin is blazing. Salah has rolled back the years. I don't know if he's doing knees over toes. I don't know what he's doing. He's rolled back the years. Diaz is electric. It's insanely fast and incisive. So love that. Next I want to talk about is slot incisiveness. I don't think there's a manager who's doing a better job. It's like he starts every game and we've got a game plan, but then he goes in at halftime and it's like he's about to dissect your team. He's going to know everything. And it's so crazy. He makes it look so easy. Like, oh yeah, well obviously they're pressing here and we realized we could hurt him here and that's what we did. I mean, it's just they literally come out and execute the second half of every game in every competition, no matter who's being rotated. It's textbook stuff. If you want to learn about your team, forget whatever internal stuff you have going on. Just watch what Liverpool does against the team that you're about to play, and you're going to learn exactly how to hurt them. And then Curtis Jones, he did it. It's not one game. It's not a fluke. He's here. He's big. He's strong. He's caught up in the mix. He's leading the press. He's spinning 3 or 4 people and retaining the ball. When you are a team like a lot of these teams, you're really counting on nicking the ball off with that press. If you're going to be brave like Aston Villa, you're going to be brave like Chelsea, you're going to commit people. And if somebody beats that press, if somebody's that press resistant where they can hold onto the ball and turn and then release it, that is devastating to a team that is risking and pressing. Because what's the other option? The other option is just to sit back and say, try to break us down. That's really the only option. Try to break us down, and you can have the ball the whole time, which Liverpool is totally fine with, or you're going to come at us, you're going to try to get it. Curtis Jones is amazing for that. And I don't know which show I was watching, but somebody said it great that their midfield 3, you always want basically a destroyer, you want a passer, which the destroyer is Gravenberch, the passer is McAllister, and you want a goal threat. And the lack of goal threat from Szoboszlai has opened the door for Curtis, and he's there. He's arriving. So can Curtis be our Lampard-esque guy, that constantly late arriving running guy? I think he likes doing that. He thrives on it. So I'm really happy. That's kind of my take on the last game. Zach, did you want to have some stuff to say about that?
Yeah. My first takeaway from watching the game was I thought Aston Villa just looked really tired or lazy or both. And I've seen other commentary the same. So it's not a unique take, but they just seemed like tired. Like Morgan Rogers was so like just it looked like lazy, but I mean I think they're just exhausted. It's a common problem, right? Your team gets in the Champions League, not used to it. They're trying to win both. They get overstretched. They looked poor midweek. They're on a bad stretch now. It's like 6 games or something, 4 or 6 games or something. But I was just shocked watching. I was like, they don't look like they even care. Like they're even trying. They're like pretending to try. And I get that they're tired, but sometimes you're like, man, this is bad. So I felt that was the biggest, and it wasn't only, it was like the whole team, but Morgan Rogers really stood out to me. And even when he was like, trying and he had the ball, he just seemed to half step slow. So he seemed to keep making mistakes that he wouldn't normally make, seemed to be just really not sharp at all. And I think they're just exhausted. And then playing Liverpool is the worst team to play if
Yeah.
you're tired. Like, I mean, the way Liverpool presses, I saw it with Chelsea. It's hard to watch a game um, when you're neutral in the same way that you watch a game when your team is playing. You just notice more when your team is playing. You're more tuned in. So, I saw it and you're used to your team and how they normally are and what they normally do
Right.
and how they're different. So, I saw how much the press of Liverpool was just extremely difficult to play against. And I guess that's obviously part of it with Villa, where they just weren't. I mean, it's very hard to play against that press. And like you said, the corners. I mean, they could have had 3 goals off of Aston Villa corners because Villa would take a corner, lose the ball, and Liverpool is so fast. So this is one of my other takeaways. I think there's still, strong. Obviously, there's strong remnants
Yeah.
of Klopp
Yeah.
in the Liverpool team. And one thing I wonder is if those fade over time from not having Klopp every day, every week in training, and if Slot, or if it's something that is obviously a remnant of Klopp and will slowly fade. But two of those things are just how fast and how smooth Liverpool breaks. And I mean, as long as they just do what they're used to doing, there's no reason it should break down. Like they should just be able to continue doing that without feedback. But I don't know what it looks like, to be coached by Klopp, on every day at training. I don't know how much it's needed to have that
Yeah.
reinforced. But what you see right now still is that Liverpool is just an insanely dangerous side breaking. There is no team like it. Um, there are, yeah, I don't. There's no. You can make some. You can bring up some other good teams on the, and Chelsea might be one of the
Yeah.
best otherwise breaking, but we don't have nearly the smoothness. Sometimes we're smooth. Sometimes we have big hitches. Players do things they shouldn't do. They hold on to the ball too long. That's what I see over and over with Liverpool. They don't do that. There's no holding on to the ball too long. Everyone gets rid of the ball quickly, keeps it moving along. The people who should run with the ball, run with the ball. I just think it's such a smooth system that it's, I sent you the kickoff video where Newcastle, Chelsea, and Arsenal fans were talking about Liverpool. And aside from the Arsenal fan who's got issues, um, everyone was, just giving
Yeah.
Liverpool the props and being like, they're the clear favorite to win. Everyone needs to stop saying City is the favorite. Liverpool is clearly the
Yeah.
best team this year. There's no reason to say they won't be in the rest of the season. There's, the assumption, well, what if they stop being the best team in the league? Okay,
Yeah.
what if? But right now, and I told you a year ago, I thought Liverpool was the best team in the league. It was around this time a year ago. I thought they were going to win the league. You didn't think so. I was not expecting them to break down like they did in the second
Yeah.
half of the season, especially once they finally had it in their hands. That's when they broke down,
Yeah.
which was like, what the heck, dude? But what do you think? Or do you think? I mean, you clearly think they're
Yeah.
the best team in the league. Do you think they're the favorites to win it now with this big advantage you have, and City looking sort of
Yeah.
pretty poor? Pep Guardiola, for the first time in history, losing 4 matches in a row. City, for the first time since 2006, losing 4 matches in a row. And then, Arsenal is below Chelsea right now. Nobody believes Chelsea can be a title contender because the team is so young. It's the youngest team in Premier League history, by the way, but we'll leave that for
Nice.
the Chelsea video. What do you think about the season for Liverpool? You think it's in the bag, or it's likely, or you don't want to
Yeah,
say
I
anything?
think nobody who ever wins a title, even a fan who wins a title, never can say it's in the bag. But I think we're definitely the
Yeah.
strongest. And it's not 4 games, it's 16 games, all competitions. Winning mentality is very hard to put in place, but once it is put in place, it is resistant, you know. Even if Liverpool lost a game right now, I would feel bad for the next team that they played. That's how it works with winning teams. We all know that. When a winning team, a good team, maybe they have a slip up, maybe it's after international break. I wouldn't be surprised. This Southampton game, that's a perfect example of a game. Right after international break, crappy team, they dig deep, they don't play like a normal team. Sometimes you play down to the competition, you're tired, you just flew from wherever. Those are the type of games that you can slip up. I would not be surprised. if we slipped up in that game. But overall, I think that we would slip up and we would react because now that these guys have done it this long, it's not a fluke. None of it's a fluke. Most XG, least XG conceded, not even at full strength. Allison not there. Jota not there. Elliott.
Yeah, without Jota even. I mean, Jota and Allison, but obviously without Allison is a strike. But I heard someone yesterday say Kelleher's the best
Yeah.
second goalie in the in the league or in
Yeah,
Europe
I think
even,
he's the best in the
and
world.
even if he leaves, he will be one of the best
Yeah.
keepers in the league.
He's
And I
so calm.
completely agree.
He's won finals. He's won major trophies for us. And, you mentioned that, I mean, you said a lot of stuff that I want to respond to. That was really good commentary. The Klopp effect. Klopp gets huge credit for what we have right now. And that was really the point of what he did last year. I knew, especially when he announced he was going to leave, that we were not going to be able to hold on because people were burned out and they were on their last leg. And because playing under Klopp is visibly exhausting physically and emotionally. You can literally, if you're a Liverpool fan, you can watch your players like holding on for dear life, and it's like it's only a matter of time before they run out. With Slot, you don't see that. People are getting pulled at 70 minutes in the game. People are being rotated. He is always talking about health and fitness, and there's all these. It's funny because the English media keeps trying to do all their narratives about, you see, Diaz isn't starting today, and he's like, well, yeah, because if you look, he didn't have much this, or he just played 3 games here. Like, there's always this super scientific sports health reason for all the rotation that he's doing. So I think Slot and he was brought in for this. It's really on top of getting more out of players, getting more out of the group physically. You have to do it somehow. You can have a spooky doctor that's giving injections, or you can have next level science health. Obviously, Liverpool, I think we're known for trying to do things the right way. So that's what we're going to do there. In terms of motivation, I don't think it peters out. I think it's all about the quality of the next person that comes in. This is why you hear Slot saying, I'm not that different than Klopp. Of course, we look at it and we go, well, it looks totally different. It's very controlled. It's not heavy metal. I think he's saying when it comes to what he demands of his players and in terms of the press, the high press, which that is being consistent. So I think that something else that makes Klopp a great coach, look at the lasting effect that he had on the teams that he coached before Liverpool. It was a lasting effect. He changed the entire identity of Mainz. He changed the entire identity of Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund is still competing at the top. They're still one of the better teams in Germany. Just last year, it was brutal how they just lost the league last year, or maybe the year before, I'm thinking, because I know Leverkusen killed it last year. But, before Bellingham came, that character, that all came from when Klopp coached them. So they went right from having Klopp to having Tuchel, who's an excellent coach. So I think what we have going on right now is a Bill Shankly, Bob Paisley situation where another guy comes in, he's got a little bit of a take, and it's like he hasn't even bought players yet. Like, he hasn't even bought really his players. So it's insane. What's going to be the next round of young players that this guy's going to bring in? It's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my sort of feeling on it is that Liverpool right now is benefiting from both Klopp and
Yeah.
Slot at the same time, and they have the best from the pressure and the intensity of Klopp still like just
Yeah.
remaining naturally, innately, and then they've got Slot who comes in and is like, calm down, we're cool, go spend the night with your family. So they have the calmness plus the pressure of intensity in a
Yeah.
perfect kind of mix. And my hope, of course, is that over time they will get complacent and lackadaisical and suck again. But no, no, I mean honestly,
Yeah.
that's sort of the hope. But the question is like, does that wear off, or does Slot continue to demand that, but just with his cool, calm
Yeah.
demeanor? Is it something that is going to be permanent, or is it something that is going to, be transitionary? And will next season be a great season like this season, or will it be a slide? I think the bigger issue, you have these really old
Yeah.
men on your team. You have these old guys, and no, 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 they're not that old
Yeah.
yet, but they're getting older. It's not a City situation where they've got actually a bit of a real
Right.
aging problem, I think. but they're getting a little older, and the question is all about the big
Yeah.
three on your team: Virgil, Trent, and
Salah.
who's the other one? Salah. And so my other point was just Salah. I mean, obviously he gets a lot of praise, a lot of plaudits. I still think he's massively
Yeah.
under
Yeah.
acknowledged, under recognized. I mean, the guy is so freaking good. He's so
If
good,
Liverpool
and
wins,
he's so clinical.
he's
He
going to
gets
get
the
the
ball.
Ballon d'Or this
He's
year.
so quick with the little steps. He takes those little steps, and he can get in and out of anywhere, and he can make anything happen. He's got perfect passes, perfect shots. I I think that's the biggest concern for Liverpool is he's getting older. He doesn't look like it, but he is, and he might not stick around. Like Trent, amazing player. He could go. You have a great
Yep.
replacement there on defense. Virgil, amazing player, very hard to replace. But I don't see how you replace Salah. Salah is
Yep.
a
Yeah.
legend.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
amazing. And every time he gets the ball, you know he can do something with it. And there's no one like him in the league. He's sort of like a combo of Saka and Palmer or something. You know, he's kind of he can
Yeah.
do too much.
I
And
agree.
even in the case where he falls down, gets knocked down, I don't know, he still gets a pass off somehow, sort of to Nunez, who scored
He
the
doesn't even
amazing
get that
goal,
pass
a
off
great
to
goal. But
Nunez. It wasn't
I
a
don't know.
pass. That was crazy Nunez speed. Because if you look at it, the ball was just knocked straight ahead of Salah.
Yeah, no, that was Nunez's like shining moment.
I mean, I don't think anybody in the league could do what he did there. That was insane. He just like pure speed. You know, you talked about our buildup is smoother. I do think there's a whole way of playing under slot that's very sustainable. Every player that they interview basically praises it. Like Jordan Henderson came back and
Yeah,
visited the
yeah.
club. Jordan Henderson was our captain. We won all that stuff, and he said he was impressed. So I think they bought in. I think our owners deserve all the credit. They literally bought somebody who could improve on what was going on. And there always is somebody that can improve. And that we don't think that. It's not like Klopp is God. You know, he was great. He's a
Yeah.
great coach. But there's always going to be somebody who can come in and improve. And that's what Slots, I think, improved us. Is there a department that we're not improved in? I mean, even with the fans, I think the fans are getting on board. It's just very thankful to be a Liverpool fan right now. I think it's very
You
sustainable.
even had the psyop to boot the anti-Liverpool ref. I mean, everything's
Yeah.
going well for you.
Yeah. So can't complain. I think we are deserved league leaders. And, you know, if we stay fit, we're going to be a problem.
But you do have a hard fixture coming up. You've got Southampton, and then after Southampton, you've got Real Madrid in the Champions League.
Yep.
Then you've got City, who's trying to make a comeback. So this is they're gonna
Those
be
teams are going to be
serious.
scared, though,
Um,
because they're they're
then you've got
wobbly.
Newcastle. Then you've got the Everton, the derby with
Yeah.
Everton. So that's a pretty hard string of matches coming up after the
Yeah.
international break.
Yep. And, you know, Klopp's given us, I feel like those are the matches that Klopp, pure prime Klopp, was the master of. But he was the master of it in like an underdog way. Like he had an immediate impact. Like, what the heck? We're beating City 4-1. I mean, these are crazy, insane games. His ultra high risk really works in those games because when two good teams face off, it's supposed to be a little more tactical, a little more respectful. It's really hard to handle. Oh no, Klopp's just going to totally go down your throat, and Trent's going to send a 70-yard pass to Robertson, who's going to send a 40-yard pass back post to. So who can plan for that? Who can match that? It's just it
Yeah.
is the most intense, insane thing ever. But, you know, I feel like Slot has it in his locker where he could be like, hey, now it's time to go like he used to under Klopp. Like, this is like he could always do that if he felt that it was strategically the only way to get somebody. I feel like he could. And because he doesn't do it every week, it would be like that's what's scary. Is
Be
Liverpool
a
could
surprise.
come out like that. They could come out pressing like they would in a Klopp game if they wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I like that take a lot. And you know, last year Chelsea had Pochettino, and you know, people criticized him for not having patterns of play, not having a system, just sort of being like gung ho crazy ball, and you know, run up the pitch as fast as possible, like drill people to be as fit as possible to the point of injury. So these were the criticisms. But when we played City twice, we tied
Yeah.
them twice, and one of those matches 4-4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you watched this match, but that was possibly my
Yeah.
favorite match of the season. It was
Right.
bonkers. It was crazy, but I just love seeing someone
Yeah.
actually take it to City, say, and I think that's what
Yeah.
people have learned this
Yep.
season a little bit more. Just take it to them. Stop
Don't
hitting.
respect
If you
them.
sit back forever, you're going to get scored on. I absolutely
Yeah.
hate this mentality and this approach. And you see teams taking it to City, they can sometimes
Right.
have success. And I think we sort of showed that last year when we had the 4-4 result with them. It was a crazy game, but we were like, we had City in a different
Yeah.
position than they're used to being in. And they were
Yes.
shaking a little bit. They were like, I mean, I'm not saying they were disrupted a little bit. And I just love that. I love that sometimes have your patterns of play, have your system, have your predictability. Sometimes let the guys go
Yeah.
loose and run like dogs, and
Mm.
see what
Mm.
happens. And if you have the quality, so I don't know. I don't see Klopp. I mean, I don't see Slot doing that. I can't imagine him doing that. You know better, so I believe you. But I have a hard time seeing him say, "Hey," but he's clearly adaptable. So maybe if he thinks that's what will work against
I think he
City,
does it
will.
after halftime. I think he does it after halftime. Once he knows exactly
Yeah,
how and where to do it, then he does it. But Guardiola and I think Arteta are known for 50 million systems. So Arteta, I don't know enough about the game to analyze it,
yeah,
but I wouldn't be surprised if Arteta came out with a completely different system in the second half. Just because they know, well, we know Slot's going to do an adjustment,
yeah.
so we have to. And Guardiola's the type of person that would do that too. He's going to have a plan for the first half. He's going to have a plan for the second half. It's all going to be different. But yeah, those are Real Madrid. Those are huge games.
So yeah. So any final takeaways on what you're expecting to see going forward, or any big takeaways from the first portion
Well,
of the season here?
I've been the most impressed by Chelsea, but I,
Oh, I mean with
yeah,
Liverpool.
I know.
I
Well,
just
I'm
mean with
saying in terms of
Liverpool only. But
opposition,
yeah,
and
we
I think Arsenal was our hardest
sure.
game. So I expect,
Oh, in your
yeah, and
games that you
so
played.
that's
Yes,
I
yes,
wouldn't.
yes, yeah.
I think title winning mentality says we're fine with the point here because we're going to kill everybody else. That is what title mentality. We're on the top of the league in Champions League. We don't need this big win against Real Madrid. We're on the top of the league in the Premier League. We don't need this huge win against City. A draw is okay. So I think he'll go there and he'll play those games and we'll see what the game presents to them. If we're able to peel them open and grab a goal, well, yeah, well, good luck. We're going to hold on for a win. We can see low XG. We can control the game. But if it's a tougher game like Arsenal, he'll be fine with that and he'll move on. And that's kind of like the snobby, comfortable way that you go about winning titles. So I'm excited. Love. I think they outdid everybody's expectations, but I don't think anybody thinks they're punching above their belt, which is what's crazy. I think it's funny when you look at the transfer window and how much stuff people talked. You would have thought, oh, they're done. They can't even buy anybody. But now, if you look at the team, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, they're not punching above their belt. They're doing what a team should do, and Klopp deserves a lot of credit. So,
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big believer in team chemistry is more important than
hmm,
people give it credit. And you have the team chemistry because you don't shake up the squad too much. I think there's just a lot of people have a question. We don't really know what happens under Klopp in the second half in the
yeah,
home stretch. Everybody knows City has come
yep,
back repeatedly that they they finished strong. So I think everybody's just
sure.
afraid to
We all have
say
PTSD. That team's
anything.
corrupt, by the way.
I think
That
that's the
team's
issue.
corrupt.
But I think it's clear. I think everybody can see Liverpool's a heavy favorite for as the best player in the league, best team in the league. And Salah, I just checked. He does have the most goals plus assists, 14. Palmer has
Yeah, and for a
12.
right winger in all
I think
competitions.
Holland has 12 goals and I think zero assists. So those are the
Well, I was
what's
just
that?
saying, I'm in a chat where they have a counter going for all the right wingers. So Saka's in there, Yamal is in there, and Salah's number one.
Oh,
And my my friends in there that are Barca fans, they're like, yeah, Salah's going to win the Ballon d'Or this year. Like they rate him really highly, so he's earning respect.
yeah, it's funny. It's funny because I think at this pace he's
Yeah,
deserving of it, but it's like again I feel like he's under acknowledged
yeah.
and underrated, and I don't know what it is about him. He doesn't have the look or he doesn't have the size of like I don't know what it is about him. I just feel like he's still under, but I think it depends a lot on who wins the league too. So if Liverpool wins the league, he's got to be
I
one
think
of
it
the
shows you
favorites. But
personality. You know,
yeah,
he's
we'll see.
not. Cole Palmer has an amazing personality. You know, and it obviously if Salah was English, well then it'd be like he's the greatest player that ever happened on earth.
Yeah, I think too. People are just used to it. I think this is
Yeah,
probably he's a victim
yeah,
of his own success. I think this is part of it. He's done it for so long, so consistently, and so everybody puts him up, but
right.
it's not new. So it's like you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
talk about it, you know. And I guess with the case of Messi and Ronaldo, they were just so
yeah.
far above everyone that you emphasized it. But Salah's like at the top, but it's not new,
That's
so
good.
you just ignore it. I think that's probably
Yeah, it's getting
the
like that
big
with
issue.
Gravenberch right now.
But yeah, Liverpool, congratulations. I think you've got to be happier than you could ever be with how the season is going. Aside from some injuries, but even with Jota out, everybody else is delivering. And Nunez gives a chance more. So I don't
Thank
know.
you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Last international
Good
break.
luck, but not really.
Last international break. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean,
Freaking
imagine how
international
hard it
break.
is to get the rhythm. And then we just came off of a game every three
It's
days, which is
ridiculous.
like, imagine getting used to that in my veins. And then it's like 2 weeks, nothing.
It's ridiculous. It's really, in my opinion, yeah, exactly what you said. You get the rhythm going with your team, and then you get it broken apart. I don't know. They need
It's
to figure
traumatizing. It
it
makes
out.
me boycott the international game because it makes me mad. Normally, I would care. I'm like,
Yeah,
no, I'm not watching it at
yeah,
all. I'm mad. I'm going to go focus on my family. Hey, guys, I just love you. I just want to spend time with you. And it's really because I'm mad about international break.
yeah. And I don't know if it would be a better way, but I sort of like if you had like a bigger mid-season break, and that was all dedicated to international stuff for like a
Yeah.
month, and then you didn't have the breaks in the season. I just don't like the season breaks. It breaks up the flow too much. It's too much of a. It does give some players a chance to rest, so I guess
Yeah.
there's a benefit.
Yeah. If you're not international, I mean, it's for bigger teams too.
Or if you just say you're too injured or whatever. But all right, good luck, but not
Yep.
really.
See you
We'll see
after the
what
break.
happens.